They've just been set free and they're ecstatic. For 2 years their village was part of that self-proclaimed Islamic State. This was the moment last week when liberation by the Iraqi army ended their nightmare. Under them I had to cover up. Now I can show my face, she said. Taking the village of Kabarouk was a small victory for an army that's been underachieving. They wanted us to see their prize, which in truth is one of few gains the Iraqis have made since they announced in March that the operation to liberate the city of Mosul had begun. The villagers were moved out of Kabarouk because it's too dangerous for them to stay. Not only is the place rigged with booby traps, IS aren't far away. They lit this oil fire to try to obscure the view of coalition drones. We saw the bodies of 6 IS fighters killed during the battle. These were some of the men whose cruelty made the last 2 years a misery for the villagers. We're travelling to another part of the front line in the company of Kurdish fighters known as Peshmerga. They've been the most effective ground force in the fight against IS. Earlier this month, the Peshmerga liberated this town Bashir. They did so with the help of friends in high places. This is one of a pair of French jets we saw circling overhead and hoping not to bring their bombs and missiles back to their base in the Gulf. Coalition airstrikes have been devastating for IS, but they remain a determined and resourceful enemy. They tend to mount attacks in darkness. This is an IS raiding party having to retreat when a night vision camera picked them out. During the day, they also live in darkness, underground, hiding from the warplanes. When they say that the Islamic State defenders of this town were well dug in, they're not joking. There are several tunnels here. One of them stretches further than a kilometre. In Bashir, we ran into one of the shadowy Shia militias that the Iraqi government insists on deploying. They've complicated the battlefield, not least because the Americans regard them as bigoted cutthroats and won't give them air support. The Peshmerga don't like them either, but for the time being the two sides have a common enemy in the fanatical fighters of IS who will stoop to anything to defend their caliphate. So this is what happens when the Islamic State come to town. And actually they're not too far away. That's the sound of mortar shells being fired in. We believe that there is chlorine or mustard gas in some of them, so we're not going to hang around here. From their forward outposts, the Kurds can see the big prize that is Mosul, but it's not their turf and they won't spearhead any assault on it. The advances made so far by the Iraqi army don't amount to much and doubts remain about their competence. In the tangled web that is Iraq, the liberation of the country's second city is not going to happen for the foreseeable future. John Irvine, ITV News, Northern Iraq.